How are these kids ending up on the streets? How
I'm
are they
telling
ending
you,
up out
man,
here?
these kids are getting mixed up in their parents' medicine cabinets. Serious shit. They're getting mixed up in their painkillers, the psych meds, the Adderall, and all the Valium, and the Xanax, and all that stuff. And then once their parents cut them off, where do they come? They come right down here to the streets.
I heard people for 10 years tell me you couldn't overdose on meth, never even knew what a piece of meth looked like. And I sure the fuck overdosed in this parking garage, and it sure the fuck hurt. And it sure the fuck didn't feel good when they told me they were gonna use the paddles on me and it was gonna hurt.
Yeah.
It didn't feel good when they were shooting shots in my arm and my chest. And it didn't feel good when they were fucking telling me, it's not looking good, bud.
What's your drug of choice?
Basically all uppers. Cocaine, meth, it don't matter. Molly, all that.
I started using drugs when I was 14. I started with ecstasies, and then from the ecstasy I went to alcohol. And at the end of my addiction, I started using meth.
I started using when I was about 12 years old. I had a pretty big surgery, so I was prescribed heavy narcotics, Dilaudid, oxys, and I quickly realized that when I didn't take them, I got really sick. So once I finished my own, I started going into other people's medicine cabinets, stealing what they had and eating.
Didn't really have a good upbringing. Dad's doing life in prison. You know, mom's all fucked up on Xans and shit, raising 6 kids. It's just the way my life went, you know.
What I'm seeking to say, people like us that we're drug addicts that need to see that if we don't do it for the children, then they're gonna follow our path, and our path isn't what we want. We want them safe. We want them to see the light. We want them to understand that numbing the situation isn't gonna fix it.
And the only reason why I was really like smoking, you know, and doing stuff to like make me feel better about myself was because I hated myself, you know, because I was gay. And I was always taught that, you know, I was going to hell.
Well, I left my children in 1973 with their dad and their new stepmother, and I never went back.
Why?
Head south on Beach Boulevard.
Because I was so messed up. And then I would try to go back and do visitation rights, and it didn't work because I'd stop off at the bar and I'd get loaded and I would just not go.
Damien, man, what's your drug of choice?
My drug of choice is crystal meth, sir.
When was the first time you smoked crystal meth?
I was probably 13 or 14 years old. I was with my brothers. I was with my family. I was with someone safe. I got hooked on it overnight, and I ended up using ever since. I'm homeless right now. It's keeping me from going to sleep.
Started doing heroin at 15. My parents started catching on by the time I was 16. My dad, he sent me away to an institution in Utah. I was there for a year, and I think I went like even deeper down into the hole like while I was there mentally. So right when I went out, I was smoking it before. So once I got out, I went straight to the needle.
Drug use has to make you go forward. It has, you know, it's gonna drive you. It's gonna help you. It's gonna accelerate you. But the problem is, it's not gonna accelerate you. It's gonna slow you down.
What's your drug of choice, Brandon?
Methamphetamines.
At what age did you start using methamphetamine?
18 years old.
I was selling it. Yeah, all of my cases were possession for sales. I got caught in 1998 by the FBI and DEA, ATF in Las Vegas, Nevada. It was a 25 count indictment, 25 people in the indictment, everything from interstate trafficking, possession for sale, distribution, possession of firearms. We got caught with 42 guns, everything from a 22 to a fully automatic AK, silencers. Then I went away, got out, and was still hungry, you know. I didn't want to, work for it. I wanted to get it the easy way. Right. And I got involved again with the dope, and got caught with 100 kilos of cocaine.
I went to go visit my father, my real father. I was raised with my mother, didn't drink. My stepfather didn't drink or do anything, but my real father, he did. He drank all the time. He was an alcoholic. So when I went there, there was alcohol. There was alcohol, and I drank it, and he gave me permission to drink it, and there it is.
And then I started having these feelings like it was my fault that he died when I found out. I started having feelings like I caused the accident when I had nothing to do with it. And then I started drinking excessively after that for a while, as much as I could get my hands on. I was doing over a quart a day.
It's like my whole life has really been avoidance when it comes to drugs. Like my parents did methamphetamines before I was born. They ended up quitting in order to have a family. My mom eventually went back to it. My Aunt Gina did opiates. She got clean for like 13 years and then went back and overdosed, and that was the end of that.
And what was your drug of choice?
Xanax and methazine, cocaine.
How old were you when you started using?
17, 18.
Give you your first drink.
Oh, when I lived in apartments on 2nd Street, there was a guy, older guy, he always offered me drinks.
And what's your drug of choice, Jordan?
Whatever you put in front of me. Adrenaline rush.
What would you say was your favorite?
Methamphetamine or crack.
Right. And when did you start using drugs, Jordan?
Way too early. 11.
I see people lying in the alleys every day that are coming down off of heroin. You know, you have to make a decision in your life. You have to want something.
What's your drug of choice?
If there's a bunch of different drugs laid out on the table, I would probably choose fentanyl, and I can put fentanyl in foil and smoke it. Fentanyl, heroin, or Xanax. Snort it, shoot it.
Well, one pivotal moment was when I got me an ounce of cocaine and I was gonna break it up and make some money, and I was living in a tent, and as it turned out, that tent turned into a smokehouse, and I didn't come out of there for 3 days.
With heroin, like hot shot, somebody could actually put like rat poisoning, cyanide, something that a foreign liquid that your body isn't supposed to be taking, and you could actually overdose and die from that.
What's your name?
Kelsey,
And where are you from, Kelsey?
Springfield, Missouri.
And what was your drug of choice?
Meth.
What made you decide to, what age did you start using?
12.
And when did you decide, what made you decide to get sober?
Waking up in the hospital knowing that it was pretty soon I was going to die.
What's your name?
Brandon Fletcher.
And Brandon, where are you from?
South Orange County, California.
And what's your drug of choice?
Xanax.
How old were you when you started using?
I was 14 years old.
And what is your drug of choice?
I take Oxycontin and oxycodone, so that's like heroin. So that would be my drug of choice. Not really by choice, but I've been on it for 9 years for a back injury, and now I'm so heavily addicted to it that, and also Klonopin for psych reasons.
Cabinets, serious shit. They're getting mixed up in their painkillers, the psych meds, the Adderall, and all the Valium, and the Xanax, and all that stuff. And then once their parents cut them off, where do they come? They come right down here to the streets.
When I first started using, I was 12 years old. I took my grandma's prescriptions, Xanax, Vicodin, Norcos, and then later on graduated to heroin.
My drug of choice is heroin and crystal meth, and for me it progressed quickly. I was a young runaway. I got into punk rock music. I began using harder and harder drugs, and it got worse and worse for me.
Do drugs, I sold drugs.
Okay, okay.
Xanax, coke, Molly, shrooms, acid. That was pretty much like mainly what I sold. When I lost my kid, I needed to get off the streets, you know, so I ended up becoming a prostitute.
So I didn't know what to do. I freaked out. I thought the police was gonna search the car and stuff. So I just put all the coke in my mouth and swallowed it all. And then I took the Xanax. I took 7 pills.
People don't want to see meth dealers out on the corner selling dope to their children, you know? People don't want to see people out robbing the store to go sell things to people to buy drugs, which drives prices up on things.
When you're a junkie, man, you're doing this shit every day. You
There is no, it's your job. You can't stop. You know, so when it's like I said, even if your mind state is like, I want to stop, even if you want to stop, you can't stop because it's a physical dependency. There's no turn off switch, you know. I've tried to stop. I've had Suboxones on me after shooting dope or snorting pills, and it's come down to the point that I couldn't even take the Suboxones right because I couldn't stop taking those right. I always needed something, you know, so I always had to see a detox.
Took a 15-year hiatus, but I'm not proud of it because I relapsed again recently. But I'm alright right now, I'm chilling. I got a lot of dreams. Still want to be like on the skate scene, still want to be a big dream, but surfing's kind of a thing in the sunset.
My purpose in life is to help people through my music by sharing my personal experiences and tribulations I've dealt with in my life.
Is there anything else on your mind?
Say no to drugs.